Hello students, today we are going to learn about the agents of pollination. The different agents are abiotic and biotic, and the abiotic ones, they are wind, water. Biotic, they are the animal pollinators. And you'll find that in the case of the wind and the water pollination, very small proportion of plants only are being pollinated by this wind and water. It's merely a chance factor if these pollen grains fall on the flowers of this wind and the water pollinated plants, and to compensate for the above uncertainties and the loss of the pollen grains, they are produced in large quantities. And the biotic agents, they are the animal pollinator. Now we'll discuss about each of this wind and the water pollinated plants. So here wind pollinated, it is also known as anemophily. The adaptations are, the flowers are very small, they are colorless, inconspicuous, nectarless, and you'll also find that numerous flowers, they are packed into an inflorescence like corn cob. Then single ovule you'll find in each ovary. The stigma is very large. It's hairy and feathery. They have got well exposed stamens, and the pollen grains, they are small, light, dry, dusty and non-sticky. And you'll see this wind pollinated plants they are grasses, sugarcane, bamboo, coconut. These are all examples of wind pollinated plants, which we also call it as the anemophily. And you can just have a look at this diagram. This is a wind pollination. You can see the wind pollination in maize. See that one? That is the cob. You can just see here. You can see the cob. See here elongated styles. You can see the pollen grains of another plant. See this maize plant. This is the tassel. You see that pollen grains all liberated. These are the main flowers, and the pollen grains are all being liberated. So in the case of the wind pollinated plants, we come across the stigmas. They are not sticky. They are very large, hairy and the feathery. So this is an example of a wind pollination in maize. Then after that, you'll see that in the case of the water pollinated plants, in the case of water pollinated plants, what is it? That is, we call it as pollination for the water pollination. We call it as the hydrophily. And here you'll find that they are very rare in the flowering plants, and it's been found in monocotyledons, about 30 genera. And in lower plants like algae, bryophyta, pteridophyta, there is a regular mode of the transport of the male gametes, and this is only possible through water only. And moreover, you must have seen that there is limited distribution of bryophyta and pteridophyta, that is some, that is on the basis of the availability of the water. Now you will see that water hyacinth, lotus, lily, these are also water plants, but the flowers are above the surface of the water, so they are not pollinated by water, but they are pollinated by wind or water. Now let us study some water pollinated plants. They are Vallisneria, Hydrilla. These are freshwater plants. Zostera, that is, we also call it as the sea grasses, and they are mostly marine. Now here the flowers of this water pollinated plants, they are colorless and nectarless. Now we will just study about this water pollinated plants, special adaptations, how the water pollination is been carried out in water. This Vallisneria, you know, it's a female, that is, this flower is dioecious, and the female flower, you'll find that it has got long stalk. Then it reached the surface of the, you can just have a look at this picture here. Here it is a female flower plant with a flower. You can see some coils, and through these coils it becomes, that is, the stalk gets longer and it reaches the surface of the water here. Here you can see the male one, it will give out the pollen grain, and this pollen grains will reach the surface of the water, and then pollination is being carried out. So let us see the features or the adaptations of this plant. That is, it is female flower, it has got long stalk, it reaches the surface of the water, pollen grains are released in the water and then they are carried to the surface of the water, and they are carried by the water currents and they reach the stigma and the pollination is being carried out. So look at this picture here. This you can just see here pollination in Vallisneria. That is a male plant. See the male inflorescence, female plant. You can see the coils there. That is a long slender stalk in the form of the coils, and this has been brought to the surface of the water, and you can see the male flowers also floating on the surface of the water, and they get get pollinated, and after that this long stalk is been curled back into the water. So this is how the pollination is being carried out in Vallisneria. Now see Zostera. In Zostera, the female flower remains submerged in water. You can just see both will be, that is both the male and the female flowers, they will be submerged in water, and here the pollen grains are released inside the water, and the pollen grains you can just see they are long, ribbon like, and they are carried passively inside the water, and some reach stigma and then pollination is being carried out. Then pollinated water pollinated species, another feature is that the pollen grains, they are covered by a mucilage. This is to protect it from wetting. Now let us see the biotic agents. What are these biotic agents? See the biotic agents. They are, you'll find different biotic agents, mostly that is the animal pollinators. That is entomophily if the pollination is carried by insects, ornithophily if it is carried by birds, and then cheirotrophily, that is by bats, and it is also being carried by animals like lemurs, arboreal rodents, reptiles, garden lizard, etc. Now you see here, today in this present context, we are all scared of the bats because of the coronavirus. We say that bats, they are the carriers of this disease. 2-3 years back, if you see in Kerala, there also this Nipah virus was being carried by the bats only. But here they also play a very important role in pollination. So here you can just see that one, this bats, they pollinate the kadam ki fool, we call it as. What is this kadam ki fool? And you can just have a look at this kadam ki fool. See here, kadam ki fool, very beautiful. It's very sweet scented also. It has got in Hindi literature and all, or in the poem, there is a place for this flower, this tree kadam ki ped and its flower. So this is this kadam ki fool, which we call it as the Anthocephalus, and this Anthocephalus, this is here the pollination is being carried by the bats. Then you will see that ornithophily, that is being pollination is being carried by the birds. You must have seen the sunbirds or the hummingbird. It's really fun seeing them, how they suck the that is the nectar, and during this time how they bring out pollination. So you can just see a bird pollination, that is the ornithophily. You can just see that is the bird pollination. And then you find that mostly the pollination is by insects. So here we'll learn about what are this insects pollinated plants and what is the speciality of those flowers. Here you can just see colorful, they are very colorful, and you can just see that one, these are all insect pollinated flowers. Nowadays if you see, there are lots of butterflies and all, they come for the pollination, they carry the nectar and all, and they move from one flower to the other. So they are very colorful, fragrant and all. So let us see the features of this one. They are large, colorful, fragrant, and they are very rich in nectar. small, and in the case of bougainvillea etc., if you see that one, inside the bract you see small flowers. So they have been clustered in such a manner that they become conspicuous, so that the insect can carry out the pollination. And some flowers have got fall odor, some with good fragrance to attract the insects, and they also provide nectar and pollen grains as floral rewards. And these pollen grains of this and plants, they are very sticky, then only the pollens can be passed on when they get stuck to the insect's body, so they can be then when it goes get into the another flower, the pollination is being carried out. Now there are some species, they give floral rewards that to this insect. They will give a safe place for laying the eggs. For example, Amorpholis, which is the tallest flower, about 6 feet you can say. And then another one you see, yucca plant. In this plant a symbiotic relationship exists. The insects, you see the moth and the plant, their life cycles cannot complete without each other. The moth, that is Tageticula, it deposits eggs in the locules of the embryo, and the flowers get pollinated by the moth, and larvae come out when the seeds starts developing. And another speciality of these flowers are they are pendulous, they are white flowers, and they bloom during night. Then another, you can see the pollination in ficus. We have learned about the Hypanthodium. This is a special inflorescence, and here you find that there is all been covered. Only in the center there will be a pore, and through this pore this bee or the wasp, it will enter into this fruit, into this Hypanthodium inflorescence. During this time what will happen, this wasp, it is also called as the blastophaga. It lays eggs, that is oviposition, that is site is there where it lays the eggs, and after that the larvae, it will feed on the gallflowers. And during this time when it moves out of this pore, what happens, it carries the pollen grains, and then when it goes and visit another flowers, then pollination has been carried out. Then you see orchid, that is Ophrys, and this bee pollination. Here you will find that is very interesting to see that one. This Ophrys, this orchid flower resembles the female bee, and the male bee, it is seeing that it is a female flower, it goes and pseudocopulates with it, which is also known as the sexual digit. And then when it moves, when it takes the pollen grains with it of that flower, and when it visits the other flower, then pollination takes place. So this is all about the agents of pollination, and I hope you all have followed it, and it was very, I hope it was very interesting, and you have and learn it properly, note down all the points. So thank you so much.